Welcome back to another Emii Creations Artist Alley Exhibitor vlog. This time we'll be at Sakuracon, which happened in both the new Summit Convention Center and the old Seattle Convention Center in Washington from April 7th to April 9, 2023. We just finished packing for Sakuracon and it's time to do our suitcase tour. And in the first pink suitcase, we have all the clothes I need for the trip, some drapes for display, and here is the tier displays that I use for my greeting cards and sticker sheets and the tablecloth. And then on the side, I have the storage cubes that I put my banners on in the front that build out into a tall display. And then this is the displays for my plushies and lanyard. You can kind of see my lanyards through there. And then this is a shopping bin thing. And this is the samples for my socks that I hang up. And then in our next soft suitcase, I have all the t-shirts that I'm planning on bringing, sample t-shirts that I hang up. This is a banner display that I'm gonna put on the top, and some more shopping bins for people to use. This is all filled with socks. And then on this side, we have some displays to hang the sock samples and some clips to hang the price tags. And this is just a utility box, and this is the sample stickers. And under here, I have more grid walls, which I need to distribute between these two suitcases just for weight distribution. And then on top of those, I have more of the drapes and my go bag for my toiletries. And that concludes this suitcase. And I have a golf bag that I am bringing, and these are the two banners that I put up in front of my booth. And then I'm actually bringing these kind of new, kind of don't use very often backdrop displays, which I'll show you once they're all ready. These go up super tall, almost like 12 feet, but they are heavier, so I wasn't able to put as much additional things in the golf bag this time. And then here are some of the little bars that go across the backdrop display. And this is all plushies in there. Since it's light enough to put in there, it doesn't add too much extra weight. And that is 50 pounds. And in my carry-on luggage, I have a lot of heavy stuff. I have on this side, right there is all my 3-inch stickers. I have some additional stuff to build my cubes with over there. And then I have some stuff for my commission taking, which I'm gonna try at this event. And then here are some merch bags on top of that. And I always bring a surge protector, so my pink surge protector. And in this bin is sticker sheets. In this bin is greeting cards, and here are my bike locks, which I use to bike lock the suitcases to the table so they don't get stolen or deter stealing. And this is my square reader and scanner. Here are some additional backdrop display stuff, connectors. This is a iPad holder, backdrop display stuff, and these are my lanyards on there. So that concludes the suitcase tour. We are bringing 1, 2, 3 checked luggages and 1 carry-on, and hopefully that is enough for this show. I do have a 10x10 booth, so you will see me setting this all up in a little bit. And don't forget to always weigh your luggages before you go. The 50-pound limit for the US flights are very strict, and they will charge you a whopping $75 if you go over it. Our luggages, multiple luggages. So it's raining. We don't actually know where to go for Exhibitor, and everybody seems a little confused, the people that I've met so far. So we're waiting here and sending someone to figure it out before we have to lug out our luggages to unknown areas of the world. So as you'll see in the video, the sign-in and setup process was not exactly easy to do. For vendors, there was 0 instructions, 0 signs of how to access the hall for hand walking and items, which is what we did because we had suitcases. We actually weren't even allowed to use the regular elevators. They told us to walk past the regular elevators, go back into the garage, and use the freight elevators in the back. So after we found out exactly where that was, because there was no signs, that's what we did. And what I heard was Artist Alley was even worse. Unfortunately, they had to pick up their badges in the regular attending line, which was in the new building, by the way. And then they had to walk 10 to 15 minutes to the old building to actually set up. And as we all know, the regular attending line is always really long, so it definitely took a lot of artists a long time to even get badges. So regarding the check-in process overall, definitely not a fan. I hope they fix it. So we just entered our Airbnb, and it is a 1-bedroom. But it does have these cool options of, like, here's one bed that's in the living room, but they have like this privacy curtain, which I think is so cool. And here's bed number 2, which is where I'm gonna be staying. Also in the living room, also with privacy curtains. And they have another options of putting another bed here if you have more people. No privacy curtain for that one, but cool option. And it has a full kitchen, so good money saver would be if you want to cook for yourself, prepare for yourself for the con, which is probably what we're trying to do for this event. Yay! It's Monday. Wait, no, it's not Monday.
Friday.
It's Friday, and we're heading to the con, which is somewhere over there. So here's the old convention building, and there's the new one. So for this year, Sakuracon did use both the new Summit building and the old Seattle Convention Center. They basically split the con in half, so some things existed in the new building and some in the old building. The main thing for us is that we were back in the underground, dingy basement for exhibitors in the Summit building. And if you're curious why I'm calling it that, go check out our Emerald City Comic Con exhibitor vlog. I'm really not a fan of the new building setup. And also, our artist family friends were all the way in the old Seattle Convention Center. They're now located where Exhibitor used to be for Sakuracon on the 3rd floor of the convention center. I have a walkthrough later in the video showing exactly where that is. Overall, I really was not a fan of the split. I don't think it was really necessary at all. Emerald City Comic Con made it work with one building, so there's no reason Sakuracon, which traditionally is a smaller con, could not do the same. It made a lot of things like sign-in, accessibility, and definitely foot traffic not ideal for any of us. Another thing to really take note of is they went from 100 to 300 artist alley tables and from 100 to 200 vendor tables. And keep in mind, no con doubles or even triples in size without the vendors taking a heavy financial hit on their sales. So on average, I could say returning artists or vendors saw at least a 50% decrease in their sales from any previous year at Sakuracon, which really sucks. While a friend of mine is doing a walkthrough of Exhibitor Hall, let me tell you a little bit about this particular hall. Sakuracon has an odd no fan art rule for all their exhibitors. And I say odd because usually Artist Alley is the one with that kind of regulation. Some of you may have seen my other videos or just know for a fact that some Artist Alley have a 50% original art and a 50% fan art rule now. I never really heard of Exhibitor being hit with the same regulation like that, so it does change the dynamic of Exhibitor Hall in my viewpoint. So usually when an artist gets bigger, some of them upgrade to exhibitor booths so they can have more room and have the security of being able to re-sign up for next year. However, since they can't do that for Sakuracon,
a lot of the bigger artists are sadly competing with smaller artists for Artist Alley spots instead. It also makes Exhibitor have an influx of resellers. I think attendees started to notice this because a lot of them didn't really believe me when I said I was the artist drawing and making my own stuff. I heard a lot of people say, "Oh, I'll save my money to buy this merchandise at Artist Alley because then we know the actual artist is there." I tried to correct them, but I feel like that was the assumption of a lot of people there. It was really discouraging and really odd because this is the first event I heard that being said in my vicinity multiple times. Alright, I know some of you may have saw videos on TikTok or wherever regarding the walk to Artist Alley for Sakuracon. Artist Alley was placed in the old convention center, so let me take you on the long walk to get from the new Summit building to the old convention center, Artist Alley. It was lightly drizzling most of the time, but I've been told Seattle residents don't really mind, but I still think it was really frustrating to have to keep walking back and forth for the whole duration of the con. So if you were a con attendee for Sakuracon, let me know what you thought about it. So let's talk about Artist Alley. I was horrified and shook to hear they went from 100 to 300 Artist Alley booths from last year to this year, 3 times the size. You will see when I'm walking through the hall that is a lot of artists. I honestly don't think it was necessary to do. I don't think there was enough foot traffic to feed every vendor that attended. I personally believe they could have comfortably maybe only increased both Artist Alley and vendors by 50 each, and still kept the whole hall in one space, whether it be the new building or the old building, because there was so much weird space in the old building leading up to Artist Alley that I felt wasted and it could have totally fit vendors. Or there was also a new space in the new building where they had the registration. It was a huge room, also wasted. Emerald City Comic Con used that for their Artist Alley, so Sakuracon could have done the same. Another thing to note was that Artist Alley was so big that the location of your booth within Artist Alley really mattered. I know a lot of attendees got overwhelmed and didn't even make it to the back half of the hall, which is really unfortunate for the artists there. Just from walking around in the space, I can totally understand. I couldn't process any more myself by the end of it. So here's my final thoughts on Sakuracon 2023. This year felt too much too soon for this con. Booths were more expensive, yet a large majority of us doesn't even make back half of what we did the previous years at Sakuracon. I personally am not coming back. I'm traumatized. No, thank you, for several years at least. However, it doesn't mean I entirely don't recommend it. I think Artist Alley could be a good option for local, drivable, or fly for cheap people who want to try it out. Just keep in mind, keep your costs low, and I don't really recommend doing Exhibitor unless you're local, have original merchandise, and need the space. Honestly, Artist Alley has 10 by 10 booths, so you can do pretty good sized build outs. Mind you, there is a height regulation to keep an eye out for, but it is half the cost of most vendor booths. And there, in my opinion, is a bigger draw for attendees because most of the biggest artists are there as well because of the no fan art rule in an exhibitor hall. Just some stuff to keep in mind. Hope it helps.
We are done. Now to track everything back to the Airbnb.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope it was informative or at least entertaining. If you like our videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the alert bell for all our new videos coming out. And see you in the next one. Bye!